Blog Talk Radio.
That's lousy music, but I kind of like it. Hey, everybody, Recruiting Animal here on July 2019. I almost said 2017, but I didn't. Hey, I got something special for you today. I'm not going to do the intro myself. My good friend from Scotland, Adam W. Gordon, is here. He's the CEO of a great new innovative company. It's not that new. It's a few years old already, called Candidate ID. And he's got a special opportunity for you, okay, which I think is pretty great. Adam W. Gordon, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Go ahead. Shoot. The floor is yours.
So we launched our product, Candidate ID, 2.5 years ago. And over the last 18 months, recruiters, recruitment managers have said, look, if there's an opportunity for me to invest $1,000 or $5,000 in Candidate ID, I'd really like to, because I love what you guys are doing. And we haven't really had any opportunity to do that because we've only done one investment round, and it was a straight $500,000 or $600,000 from a seed VC firm. So the last person, however, about 6 weeks ago, the last person who said, look, I'd really like to put in $5,000 if it's possible, we said, okay, I'll tell you what, we've had so many people request to do this. Why don't we embrace it, and why don't we do a crowdfunding? And I'm aware that crowdfunding can be seen as for losers, but I think if you aim it squarely at people in recruitment, HR, talent acquisition, which is all we've done since it launched about 27 hours ago, then we believe that it's a great opportunity to bring in an army of advocates and to really build goodwill between us and the market we serve. And those people will be able to give us their feedback and really benefit in terms of a share price uplift. So that's what we've done, and we're very, very excited about.
Okay, well, how much money? What are the amounts that people can invest?
Well, a share is £100, which is $124. And up until about 7 days ago, I understood that everybody across the world could invest at that level. But sadly, I realized I was told by Crowdcube, which is the platform that we're using for this investment, that if you're in America or Canada, the minimum investment you need to do is $25,000.
If you had a brain in your head. If you had a brain in your head, Adam, you wouldn't mention that. Just let them find out when they called you, okay? So people like me, I was going to invest.
Hey.
What?
Am I on?
What? Yeah, you're on.
He was answering the question you asked, and then you tell him if you've got a brain in your head, you'd not answer.
I know, but he shouldn't have mentioned that people like us can't invest. I wanted to invest, and now he's coming on a show that's primarily North American and saying, look, I got this great investment. And believe me, everybody, I think it's a great investment, okay? But now he's saying we can't do it. It's only for people in the UK, it sounds like, unless you're big.
No. Yeah. It's not just for people in the UK. So the three countries where you're restricted on investing are the US and Canada, where the minimum investment needs to be $25,000, or Japan, where you're not allowed to invest at all. Now, you're right. If I had your brain, then I would let people go to the Crowdcube page and find out themselves. But I'm also really transparent. So absolutely everything I tell you is exactly as it is, and I feel like I don't want to waste people's time. If they want to find out about Candidate ID, they can go and do it at the website.
Tell us what the company does. Not everybody knows. I think you can do it in a nutshell. What does it do?
Yeah, sure. So it tracks and scores each candidate's interaction with your content online so that a recruitment agency or an in-house recruitment team knows at all times which candidates are hot for opportunities, because they can see who's been looking at job descriptions, who's been looking at, what's it like to work there, or is this recruitment agency
Okay, so
reputable,
based on what people, okay, you get the names of all the people in a profession, and then you send them some info, and by watching what they click on, you can decide who's most hot, and it separates the potential real hot candidates from people who aren't that interested right now. It tells recruiters who to call first. Is that a good explanation?
That's correct. And listen, one guy from a recruitment business in the UK has invested £10,000. He put it in yesterday, which is about $13,000, and his recruitment business has been able to achieve 50% more placements per recruiter from using Candidate ID. So he's got the benefit in that way, and he likes it so much that he's invested.
Okay. Anything else we should know?
Yep, it's at crowdcube.com/candidate-ID.
Okay, let's repeat that. Hold on. Crowdcube, C-U-B-E?
Yep, crowdcube.com/candidate-ID.
One word, candidate
like
ID?
Just consecutive letters, candidate ID.
Okay.
And there's an opportunity there to invest. There's an opportunity to request more information. There's an opportunity to ask questions.
Final question. What's the return on investment expected?
I mean, that's very difficult to say, and it says all over CrowdCube, your capital may be at risk. So I do have to point that out. There's no guarantees of anything, of course, but my goal is to achieve minimum 4 times investment in the next 3 years.
Wow. Okay. And let me ask before we finish, Jerry, are you doing the shout? Jerry, are you doing the shout?
No. Mentally, I just can't get. I just can't. I'm already focused on buying this company right now.
Okay. Adam,
your evaluation.
Adam,
your evaluation, and given the given the amount of placements the kitchen recruiter makes, I'm absolutely sure you could probably do it. Go and look at our valuation.
Jerry could afford it. Jerry could afford it, but I got to move on with the show. Adam, do you want to do the shout?
I'm going to buy the whole thing and replace the management team immediately.
Adam, do you want to do the shout?
Okay.
Adam, do you want to do the shout, or should I just play the tape?
It's the recruiting animal show.
You know what? I mean, the guy should have put a little more life into that shout. I mean, he was whispering. This is a show.
No,
not a Scottish show. No, what?
That was good.
He said, we're animal show. No, that's not how it's supposed to be.
You can't compare that to a trained professional.
Jerry, are you on a speakerphone again? Are you on a speakerphone
I'm on
again?
whatever I want.
No, you're not. Not on this show. Okay. Hey, everybody.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny how he was saying that, well, there's minimums to invest if you're in Canada or the U.S., and you thought that meant that you couldn't invest.
I can't invest.
You just got to get $25K, man.
I can't put
Jerry, he's got to have
in.
money to invest. What's he making?
Yes,
$5 on the ads?
Why do we have to pay so much more? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. It's crazy. This is where all the money is in North America. Why would he pick that site for it? But you know what? That company is innovative. I like it. I was ready to put money into it, but then he says, no, you got a $25K only. Okay, but I think it's a good opportunity. Like he said, it's a risk, but I think it's a good one. Okay. Hey, I got to thank my sponsors who are actually giving me a return of coffee money. PC Recruiter, the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software. Hire Tool, the super duper sourcing tool, and Hone It, HONEIT. Yeah, they are growing.
I keep seeing pictures of their team. It's crazy.
Pick up the phone, you Jerry.
I am on the phone.
Okay.
He did pick up the phone. I can hear it. He picked
You can hear me, can't you,
HONE.
Kathy? Do I
can
sound
hear
good to
you.
you, Kathy?
Yeah.
You sound good to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
HONEIT, the phone interview technology.
Still a sponsor?
What?
I can't hear you. Pick
Okay,
up the phone.
look, the guest came on. When the guest showed up, during the pre-show little chat I had with him, he told me he can't stay for more than half the show. Last minute warning. So we better get to him. He's only got 20 minutes left.
Please give me your money.
Today,
hey, I got a split. I like that.
Yeah. The guest today is Kevin Wessner, Wessner. Kevin, do you have a Twitter page? Because I sure couldn't find it.
I'd like to introduce the Boom Band Showcase. My name is Jeff Taylor. I'm the host of the show. I'm the founder of Monster.com and Boom Band. This is a podcast about job seekers. They're struggling right now. The ghosted jobs, the black hole, everything is challenging. What we want to do is create real stories, get them talking about their superpowers, have you see what they're really like, because you're going to want to hire them. Give me a sign that you love your life.
Yeah, I'm not too active on Twitter. I do got one. It's under at @Wessner1.
What is it? I couldn't make that out. What is it? At what?
At K, my first initial, Wessner1.
Okay, at Wessner1. Yeah, well, I guess I'm not a good sourcer. I couldn't find it. What time did you go to bed last night? What time did you go to bed last night?
10:30.
What time did you wake up?
6:30.
Okay, so you're not a member of the 6 o'clock club. You're not rolling until you're 7. What time do you start work?
I'm usually on. I'm on, ready to go. Coffee in me about 7 o'clock.
Are
you working out right now? Are
you on the bench right now? Are you working out?
Is this a different guy
in between reps here.
He's on Knoxville time.
Is this a different guy?
The first guy was just pitching the company. This is the real guest,
then explain that. Who's the guest?
Didn't I say his name is Kevin Wessner, Wessner? Okay, Kathy, wake up. Wake
up. No, you didn't say that.
Kathy.
Well, what does he do?
He's a corporate recruiter. He's a contract corporate recruiter. He's going to tell us in a minute, but I just got to get his success tips. I've got a new module for the show, success tips. Are you a member of the 6 o'clock club? What do you eat? What did you have for breakfast today, Kevin?
Since I'm doing keto, I had an egg which sandwich, which is basically a little egg frittata top and bottom as the bread, some turkey sausage.
How long have you been
cheese.
on the ketogenic diet? How long?
Month and a half.
Oh, have you lost any weight?
About 25, 26 pounds now.
Wow!
Nice.
Just for everybody knows that it's a high-fat, high-protein, zero-carb diet, right? And are you enjoying
you
it?
Can have,
Go ahead.
No, I miss pizza. I miss pasta. No, I'm not enjoying it, but I'm definitely seeing the benefits. But I miss
those
my
things
pizza
are
and
bad
pasta.
for you. Pizza and pasta are bad for you. Okay,
you
don't want that stuff.
No.
Do you work out?
Yeah, when I can.
Lift weights.
Minimal, because I'm not trying to get bulky. I'm trying to
if you're losing
lose
weight,
the
you
dad
got to
bod
maintain
and
your
slim
muscle.
down.
If you're losing weight, you got to maintain your muscle mass. Otherwise, you'll be skinny fat. It's called skinny fat.
No,
you don't want that, Kevin.
Yeah,
okay?
I get it.
Just lift at least some light weights. Do you meditate?
Regularly.
Yeah? How much?
Serenity Now. Oh, I'd say about 50 times a day.
Oh, okay. That's not meditation. That's like affirmation, right?
Sure.
That's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
And
no, it's my meditation.
And that's it. Okay. Kathy wants to know what you do. What's your title? Corporate contract recruiter?
Yeah, I'm basically a contract recruiter for a lot of different corporate entities. I've been contracting for several years now, both mid-size and very large companies.
But you recruit a wide range of people. You're really a generalist recruiter. Am I right about that?
Yep. The only thing I have not recruited is doctors and nurses, but just about everything else.
Okay. Well, the natural question for me is everybody says you have to have a niche. Otherwise, you sound like an ignoramus when you call people because you don't know anything about their profession. You have to pick it up. New every time you got an order. Also, you can't build a relationship with anybody because you're not going to be working in their field for a long time. What do you think about those critiques? of general?
I think it's a little fair. I come from a science background before I got into recruiting, so highly technical roles, both on the software side and engineering side, whether it be, hardware, software engineering, or civil or environmental engineering. I have that technical background where.
No, you're a marine biologist. I looked at your profile. You're not an engineer.
Oh, yeah.
You're not a software programmer. You're a marine biologist. Completely different.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see. Go ahead.
Wasn't George Costanza
a
marine biologist at one point?
Yeah, exactly. No, I got into marine biology, and obviously that comes with a lot of remediation projects. So there you have, you're bringing on technical roles, everything from civil, environmental engineers, et cetera. So yeah, it definitely has a background. You got to have a knowledge of everything you're doing.
Okay. So you've been a recruiter for 5 years because you were in that marine biology, then you moved into sales in that profession, I think, and then you became a recruiter. 5 years. How long did it take you to master the job, recruiting?
Honestly, during my marine biology days, we were constantly recruiting for new projects. So I had a little bit of knowledge as a project manager, how to recruit, how to reach out, et cetera. I just never did it full time. So I had a small, building block to build on when I went into it full time. And I would say it took me less than 30 days to come up to speed, really learn how to engage passive candidates, et cetera, but definitely less than a month. It was a easy switch for me. Yep.
Okay, but are you unique, or is that all it should really take anybody, 30 days?
No, it should take you less than 30 days. You got to have the conversation skills. You got to have at least a knowledge background of what you're looking for. But really, reaching out to those passive candidates, less than 30 days is how long it took me to really fine-tune my outreach.
Okay, well, what is the fine-tune? What did you have to learn to get to those passive candidates? What was it that you learned?
Keep it short and simple.
What does that mean?
Let me make a note of that. Hold on. What was that?
Right.
Short and simple?
Animal.
Short and simple. There you go.
Okay. Write that down.
It was. I quickly learned my first full-on recruiting project. I was given a software company as a client, and I quickly learned that these software developers obviously are getting pounded by recruiters 50 times a day. So I had to set myself apart if I was going to even get in their ear about an opportunity. So I was looking at other emails recruiters and seeing the length and seeing the vagueness in theirs, and I kept it like I was sitting at a bar having a beer with them, and it seemed to work. It clicked. My client actually approached me after a few months of placements with them and said, hey, would you like to come on full-time contract with us instead of us paying, all these fees to your company and you splitting them? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So it just took off from there.
So what do you mean? You first of all, how did you approach them? Was it email or cold calls? How did you contact these people?
Both emails and cold calling, looking up different venues. HireTool was a tool we used, as well as obviously, the tried and true LinkedIn Recruiter.
Uh-huh. Okay. Is somebody listening to a tape in the background or a radio? If you're doing that, please turn it off, okay? Let me see. Okay, so now this is we don't have a lot of time with you, so I want to get at least one thing clear. So you were emailing people. When you phone people up, when you cold call them, what's your pitch? Did you get them on the phone or did you leave voicemails?
A lot of times I was put right to voicemail, so I was leaving my voicemail and following up with an email.
Okay, what would the voicemail say?
I'm not a huge fan of calling people at work, but what would the voicemail say? It would be, short and simple, just like my email. Hey, my name's Kevin Wessner. I'm ex-recruiter at, this company. I'm looking for, X, Y, and Z person. I looked at your profile on LinkedIn. I think you're a good fit. Give me a call back. My number, real short and sweet.
Okay, I just read Garrick Chan wrote something, a comment on my Facebook group, and he said that's transactional. You're not going to get a career. That doesn't generate a career conversation with the candidate. They're going to say how much, and it's going to be hard to develop them. Obviously, you don't agree with that because you said you're pretty good at getting. Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely good at it, and I'm definitely good at maintaining my relationships beyond, people that I've placed. I still get people 2, 3, 4 years ago that say, hey, remember me? I'm looking to switch. Do you know of anything?
Okay, so people reply to the voicemails. Is that what you're telling me? Yes, they do?
Yep, they do.
How many
both
do you have to,
and voicemail.
How many do you have to leave voicemails before they reply?
Tough question. They'll get back to me either way. Hey, I got your voicemail. Or they usually reply via email, versus calling me right back. I'd say, of the people that call me back versus email me back, I'd say, less than 20% call me. They email me first.
Okay, so you leave your...
He has a very distinctive voice, and he kind of reminds me of Jerry's style. And it's something that I would respond to because of his voice.
Really? Okay, good. Thank you, Kathy. You got a compliment from Kathy. Okay, I think it's an interesting voice and style as well. It's like he's intelligent, but he sounds like a hick. Okay.
Right.
Sorry.
No, animal. It would be a good old boy.
Okay. There we go. Okay, but you said your style is it's just like you're sitting down with them for a beer. What does that mean actually? Spell that out for me, will you?
That means, I know their skill sets. I can see it on paper. I can see it on the profile. I know their skill sets. And a lot of my clients, and I'm sure this goes with a lot of people, almost all of my clients are like, Kevin, we can't tell you how important, the culture fit is. We need this type of person. These are the type of personalities in our group.
Can you give me an example? Because usually nobody knows what culture fit means. When they say the culture fit is important, how do they give you the guidance for that?
It's simple. It's, having that, I guess almost personal relationship with the hiring manager. I could give you an example. One of my hiring managers, I have a weekly meeting with her, and we talk about our families and what we did, over the weekend, the first 5-10 minutes of our weekly update call. So that, that family atmosphere, that tells me a lot about her. And, I'm looking for, that type of person who not only, balances their career, and their professional skills, but has those family values that she's going to be looking for. And I know you can't really talk about family, ask about family, blah, 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 et cetera, to a candidate, but you can get that feeling from the candidate. And I think I have, just a good reputation for doing that.
Okay, but sitting next to them talking at a bar, what does that mean exactly? Do you say to them, like, what'd you do this weekend? What do you think of the Blue Jays or the Raptors or whatever?
Yeah, I do. I'll read into, their background, where they went to school. A lot of times, I'm down here in SEC country, so I'm a Tennessee Volunteers fan. If I see somebody went to Alabama, Florida, or wherever, another big-name college, I'll break the ice that way and, kind of get to know them as a person, see, what outside of work they're interested in.
Is there some geography that you're specifically focused on? Is it your region, your southeast region of the United States?
No, I've done the United States. I've done abroad, Europe, Saudi Arabia. I've done everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually had to find mechanics to work on F-15 fighter jets for the Royal Saudi Arabian Air Force, and that was almost impossible because nobody works on F-15s anymore. They're F-16 and above, but they only wanted people from Canada and Europe. They didn't want no Americans, and it was just, that's probably one of the toughest recruiting projects I've ever had.
How did you find those people? Are they on LinkedIn?
I found one in Canada, and it was a woman, and they wouldn't take her because she was a woman.
Okay, but how did you find the other people? I had to
walk away. I didn't. I had to walk away. It was just, me spinning my wheels. Yeah, it was something that, hey, here's this project, and I knew it was going to be tough, but before I took it on, I said, this is going to be almost impossible. You understand? They're like, yeah, we know. Just do what you can. And so I tried, and I did find one.
You're a contract recruiter. Does that mean you work for a few months at one company and then move to another company?
It depends. I've worked, I've had initial contracts for 6 months, and then they say, Kevin, we're going to need you for another year, and they'll just extend it. I've had other ones where it was a straight, we've got these positions to fill, and once they're filled, they're over, and the contract's done.
And how do you find another job if you have to keep changing all the time? I mean, that's hard work, isn't it?
lot of referrals. I have a pretty extensive network that I can rely on. I get a lot of people, in the past that I've worked with have actually referred me without, even my knowledge. And I'll get a call from X company saying, hey, my friend Joe Smith at this company said you did a lot of good recruiting work for him. I wondered if you were available because I've got 5 new roles to fill and I need them filled quick. I don't have the manpower to do it. Can you help?
Okay,
so
but you were wait a second. You were in agency recruiting. Kathy already told you she likes the way you sound. I like it too.
Right.
Okay. How come you went inside? Because you sound like a guy who could generate a lot of business.
I like it inside. On the outside, I had not a lot, but I had a few deals, just fall through, and I understand it happens. I like the steady pace. I like being able to be on the inside to represent the company honestly and first and foremost in my email. That way I don't have to sit there and, be vague about the company I'm representing, to avoid the candidate, figuring it out and applying themselves. I like to represent myself that way, and it allows me to be a lot more open and honest and straightforward right off the bat.
Okay, just like you told Jerry, simple, keep it simple, and so that keeps it simple. Okay, you don't have to be sort of a prevaricator. Has AI, artificial intelligence, affected you at all? We keep reading articles about it. Go ahead.
Well,
tell me.
I've used it before, and probably not in the sense that you're meaning. I've used an AI intelligence recruiting software platform called Aria, and I liked it sort of. It took a couple of rounds to get through, really whittling down what Aria was bringing me as far as candidate-wise, but it was very, very slow. I mean, the amount of time it took for that to just go from screen to screen, it had nothing to do with my internet. It was on their end.
Okay, is that
it
like
was just way slow.
That like Hire Tool, a sourcing tool? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Aria, it's good. It just needs to speed up a little bit.
Okay, so AI, is that where you see it affecting us initially in the sourcing tools? Is that where it is?
No, I don't think so. You still have to get that candidate on the phone. You still have to talk to that candidate. AI is not going to replace, I think, what really good recruiters do in that sense. It may pull out the keywords, and if AI is going to just pull keywords, you're not going to get the right candidate because.
Okay, I'm moving on because this might be the final question. This guy wrote on the Facebook today. He said hiring managers don't give an F. What word? They don't give up an F-bomb about candidate experience or company brand. And he was referring to these. Apparently, the statistics show Gartner, the consulting firm, said that hiring managers are taking a lot longer to get to an offer. Okay, first of all, have you noticed that? And is it because, why is it happening?
Yes and no. I've had hiring managers in the past where he really did feel that his roles were mission critical, and he made himself available at all costs to get the right candidate in for the interview as soon as possible and make the right decision as soon as he was comfortable with it, as soon as possible. But I have had other hiring managers that, I totally agree. They'll say, yes, Kevin, this position is mission critical, and all of a sudden it's a week or two just to get feedback after several follow-up attempts. So I have noticed that, and I've noticed, especially in hiring groups of candidates that are going into a group itself, they may make a couple initial hires, but then all of a sudden the hiring manager will drag their feet, seeing how these people are working out and what else they might maybe change the remaining positions on, et cetera. So I do agree that, majority of my hiring managers.
Okay, the last example you gave, I think that's legitimate.
Right.
Bring in some people, see how they work out before we start moving ahead. But let's say these people who are just sluggards, they give you a mission-critical search, and then they drag their feet, or they say, I like the candidate, but the offer's not forthcoming. How do you handle them? Because you sound like a manly man. I wouldn't want to necessarily fight with you, okay? Now, I hope I didn't mean that in a sexist way, but you don't sound like a pushover, okay? So are you easy to push around, or do you fight back?
No, I fight back on that because I let them know it's a candidate-driven market, and if you're not going to jump on the talent while it's there and available, somebody else will. And, I'm straightforward and honest about that, and you've got to make this decision, because if you don't, Company X is going to make the decision, and all of a sudden this candidate is interviewing final stages and you're still waiting on an offer.
What happens? Do they listen to you? Do they listen to you, or what happens? How does it resolve?
Yes and no. Sometimes they listen to me and they say, yeah,
well, what
I
if they
understand.
don't
Sorry,
listen?
I've just
What
been
if
busy.
they don't listen? What do you do? What if they don't listen? That's what I want to get to, okay?
When they don't listen, I just sit there and be like, look, Joe Smith was available. You didn't jump on him. Now he's got an offer with somebody else. He's not coming here anymore. We're going to start almost over again because you waited.
Well, why don't you say to them, no, I'm not working on your search. It goes to the bottom of the barrel. I already put my heart into it, and you screwed it up. Why not?
They contracted me to work for them, and I'll continue to work for them, but I'll let them know exactly why the candidate they wanted fell through.
You know what?
And I'll put it on them.
They'll blame it on you. They'll say, look,
no.
These guys, they don't take responsibility. They're not going to say, I screwed it up, Kevin. They're going to say, look, this search has been open for 5 months. What you stink. And then they'll give you a bad reference somewhere else. They won't say, he's a great recruiter, but I gave him a really hard time. He bring in people, and I delayed till we lost them. They're not going to say that. You got to tame these people, or it's going to reflect badly on you, Kevin. That's what you can take away from this show. Okay, should I let you go? It's 12:30. Should I let you go?
Yeah. My apologies sincerely.
You know what? I was mad when you told me, but I like you. You'll come back another time. Because like Kathy said, you're an interesting guy to listen to. Now I'll ask Alan Fleur. If Alan Fleur is still here as a corporate recruiter, I'll ask him the questions I was going to ask you. What were you saying? What were you going to say?
The pace of change in the world of business is fast, and that drives incredible complexity for the world of human resources.
Welcome to the HR Data Labs podcast, a series of conversations with experts inside and outside the world of HR on how to innovate, measure, and evolve our practices.
Our goal is to help provide you with practical examples of how HR has to change to meet the complexity of the business environment.
Every week, we'll talk to new and different voices on all aspects of HR.
And at times, we'll get irreverent.
Silly even.
And sometimes geek out on the data and technology that underlie the processes that drive the world of HR.
But the conversations are always insightful and fun. So please, enjoy the HR Data Labs podcast.
Who, me? No, I was just going to say thank you guys. I certainly appreciate it, and I'd love to be back anytime.
Okay, buzz off. Okay.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Bye. Alan Fleur, are you still with us? Alan, are you there? I got to have someone to talk to. Alan, he's gone. Okay. Alan, Phil in London, are you with us? Phil in London. Yeah. Who wants to talk?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. I guess there's a delay.
Sweet.
Are you going to buy some shares in Candidate ID? You can do it. We can't.
No, I'll probably buy some shares in Amazon.
Amazon? How much is that?
A lot, but they're taking over the world.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yesterday was Prime, or today is Prime Day, or whatever. What do you want to tell us, Phil?
More because of the infrastructure and the cloud, and they're going to beat away Oracle and. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not interested in that, Phil. What I want to know is
whatever.
When you get these guys, these managers who are dragging their feet, how do you deal with them? Do you say, oh, you shouldn't do that, and let them walk all over you, or do you lay down the law and say, you're going to work with me, you do it my way, or I'm out of here? What do you do?
As a corporate recruiter or as an external agency recruiter?
You tell me, because the last guy was corporate.
Yeah, I mean, as a corporate recruiter, you definitely want to get in early and ensure that they understand the terms of engagement and how important it is to get moving. Absolutely. And, when you're a corporate recruiter, you've got every tool internally to bug them like crazy, from Slack to, Zoom to whatever. You can bug them, and you can talk to their line manager. You can make it happen internally. External as an agent, it's all about the relationship, isn't it? If they understand you, if they've got a lot of respect for you, they're gonna understand that you need to get things moving. If you've got a good relationship with a client, you can bug them and when you bug them, it's like I always say, sorry to be such a pest, but you know.
You know what? You guys amaze me. Him, that guy Kevin, and you saying, "Oh yeah, it can be resolved." It can't be resolved. Sometimes somebody's got to get tough. Now, you said if you're on the corporate side, you can report them. Have you ever done that? Report the manager to somebody else?
It's not a question of reporting, but I mean, in most cases, I work with C-level folks. So if I'm dealing with line managers below them, I will gently ask their bosses to check in with them to see how it's going, and maybe put a bit of pressure on that doesn't involve me, and all of a sudden you'll see them reacting a bit quicker. But as an external agent, though, if you don't have that, when you say it gets to the point where you've got to get tough, what does get tough mean for you?
Okay, if you're an external agent and you work really hard to find somebody that's hard to find, and you get them in there, and they say, oh, we need 3 people on our interview panel. This other person's traveling for a month. Forget it. I'm not working with you anymore. Okay, I'm going to lose this person. She's only visiting the city for a few days or something like that. And if you're in your corporate, I don't have that experience. But, as I told Kevin, it's going to reflect badly on you, even if they say, oh, I'm sorry, it was me. It won't be in the end. A recruiter has to, fill those positions, and if for whatever reason they don't get filled, it's his or her responsibility. So those sluggish managers, they have to be whipped into shape if necessary.
But there's always a way around it. So if you've got a candidate that's only in town for 2 days, that you've got to surely look for alternatives if that individual hiring manager can't do it. Look for substitutes, look for ways around it instead of throwing toys out the pram and losing the client. You're right. You might lose the candidate, but you might not. And it's a numbers game, So why pull the plug on it when there's an outside chance that it'll happen anyway?
Is Jerry still here? I think Jerry's gone. Jerry gone?
I think everyone, just you and me.
No, it's not just you and me. There's other numbers here, but I don't know, who they are. Area code 310. I don't know who that is. Who's 310? Maybe that's Kendra. She doesn't want to talk. Area code 248.
203 is Kendra.
Oh, okay. Kendra, are you free to talk? I got a question that a woman has to answer.
I'll try.
You can say no. No. You're job hunting. Okay, I don't want to put you in an awkward position. Forget it.
Let everybody know that I am also looking for my next contract.
Is that you really? You want people to know, or am I saying something wrong?
No, but I sit in an open seating area, open plan, so it's hard to talk.
Oh. Okay. Well, I can delete that part from the show later on anyway. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I goofed. Area code 619. Maybe you want to talk. Any women here? Okay, work.
Yeah, I'm here, but I don't know what I can add. I mean, what did you want?
Okay, what's this business? Sorry, Phil, you can't answer this. What's this business with mansplaining? I think that guy, Evan, he was right. He said that's a sexist term. No recruiter should ever use that word. And I agree with him, but he got slaughtered. What's up with that, Kathy?
It was the first time I had even seen that term.
Oh, okay, so you
I'm
don't know.
Probably not the right person to ask.
Okay. Phil, do you mansplain? Phil, do you mansplain people? Women? Do you mansplain them?
No. I mean, what is mansplaining?
I don't know. It's like, talking down to women, like imagining they don't know anything and explaining. I think it's explaining simple things to them that, so it's demeaning. So if you do that, I really don't know. But,
my husband does that to me all the time. And then I end up knowing what he's talking about, and it shocks him. So, yeah, I guess I've experienced it.
Did it happen to you when you were at Deloitte? Did it happen at Deloitte a lot? Everybody thought you were a dummy?
In one particular technical arena, one team, it did. It was horrible. So I left that part of the team. But, yeah, it was bad.
Okay, so they thought you didn't understand these technical things, and they thought it because you were a woman? Is that what you're saying?
I got that implication. That's what, yeah, because we then put a man on the role, and he didn't get the same pushback that several women had.
Okay,
so,
you weren't the only one. Okay,
no,
fine.
No.
I've seen some husbands talk over their wives the odd time, but I've seen it the other way too. So I don't know if that counts. I haven't seen it at work. I got to do an ad. Hey everybody, Recruiting Animal here for Hire Tool. You know, Amy Miller, who believes in mansplaining, by the way, she's a crusader against it. One thing she knows about for sure, even if it isn't mansplaining, she knows about sourcing, and she loves Hire Tool, HIRETUAL. She says it's her favorite sourcing tool, hands down. I'm quoting her. She says, I recruit engineering managers in big tech. I've done side-by-side comparisons between Hire Tool's AI sourcing function and another brand name tool. There was no contest, okay? Hire Tool provided relevant results, full contact info, okay? And she says, I'll talk about it with anybody. She's an ambassador for the company, informally, okay? Hire Tool. Check it out. And now I'm going to talk about PC Recruiter. And you can hang up if you don't like me doing the ads. I have to have coffee. Jerry's got to have coffee, okay? This is what Jeremy Sizemore says, and he's a big biller. He's a specialist in SAP. He says, I've been on PC Recruiter for over 15 years. And you want to know why? Because there's no darn reason to change. They're constantly improving that product. They have great customer service. It's well priced and has all of the functionality I want. I love the mobile app. I use it all the time. I like that I can import a LinkedIn profile or a Zoom info profile just by clicking the import button. You know, PC Recruiter, you can customize reports however you want for team meetings. It's a staple in our industry, but not only that, half the people in the Pinnacle Society, the biggest billers in the United States, half of them are running PC Recruiter. Check it out at pcrecruiter.net. I got one more ad, but does anybody want to talk? I mean, there's my guest screwed me. Does anybody here want to talk? No?
He was an interesting guest. He was very interesting, and I don't know how he learned to recruit across the board in 30 days. I would have liked to have known more about that because it took me a while.
But you know the funny. Oh, okay. Is that Alan? You're back?
Sorry, I was on making an offer. Yeah, he just sounds like good old boy ego.
No, hold on a second. He said. No, hold on. Let me ask Alan a question. Alan's a corporate recruiter, and this guy said it takes only 30 days to master it. Who's listening to another show in the background? Okay, don't do it. Is that you, Alan?
No.
Alan?
No, it's not.
Okay. So,
no, Dad, okay. It's not me.
Yeah, okay. Well, listen to me. I got a question for you, kid. He said it takes 30 days to get trained for corporate recruiting. Were you just telling that Kathy that's an egotistic statement? It's not true?
Yeah. Well, here, let me put it this way. Can I hand somebody a process flow chart and say, here's how it happens? Sure. Can you teach all the ins and outs in 30 days? No, I'm still learning stuff all the time. Also,
like what? What was the last thing you learned? What was the last thing you learned?
Just on negotiations.
Like what? I'll bet nothing. You're making that up. You're pulling it out of thin air. What is it you learned?
I had to figure out how to get a guy from Los Angeles to the Bay Area for 7 months and back, and how to listen to him for what was important to him, and figure out if he was just trying to get a little bit more money or the alternatives. Turned out to be the alternatives, so he'll be signing the offer tomorrow.
But what did you learn? That was just a negotiation. What did you learn? You didn't learn any general principles to take with you to another.
Well,
no, what I was talking about, it was Animal, is he said he learned how to recruit in 30 days, meaning he was a beginner. He was a newbie.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he did that. And if you're a generalist,
here's a question.
If you're a generalist, you've got to learn about all of the different, areas that you're recruiting for. So it could be trucking, it could be technical, it could be nursing, it could be. You've got to wrap up on all those topics. So.
And actually, did you ask him? I'm sorry. Did we ever find out what he recruits on? Is it all tech? Is it janitors?
All kinds. No, sales,
He's a generalist.
anything. He's a generalist, but he did seem to focus on tech jobs. civil engineering jobs that he said he understood already from his time as a marine biologist.
Yeah. But
he
that
said
doesn't
he did bring
mean that you can recruit. Recruiting's a whole different skill set, and I kind of take umbrage to that.
Okay. Alan wanted to say something. You pulled his chestnut out of the fire.
Kathy made it. I agree with Kathy.
Okay.
I think people that you can, depends who it is, right? If you're really bright, if you're intuitive, if you've got a lot of common sense, and there's a lot of common sense in recruitment, then yeah, you're going to pick it up. But if you're like, pretty stupid,
and if he was hiring, if he was part of the hiring committee or whatever that hired at the various jobs he was at previous to getting into the industry, yeah, he might have a little bit more that he doesn't really think.
No, he did say he was doing recruiting. Yes, he was doing recruiting in his other jobs, but it wasn't primarily a recruiting role. What about this? There's a woman.
Animal doesn't like to generalize, so we can't generalize.
Okay. Well, I like to talk about specifics. It's true, but we are talking in generalities with this. But I want to move on to something else. This woman said that she has a trouble when she's doing a screen on candidates. Some of them talk too much, and she's too polite to tell them to shut up. And so I was wondering if anybody else has had that problem. If
No.
Okay,
Hello?
Kendra will take that one.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Kendra.
I lead with, hey, the hiring manager has already seen your resume and is interested. I have exactly 7 questions in 15 minutes. And I just really want to make sure we have a great match, and I want to pull out highlights. I really need tweet-length answers. And I don't mean to be abrupt, but no, I get the yackers, and I will put that to a hiring manager. Has no sense of synthesis, rambles, doesn't understand what 15 minutes means. I have the same problem. That's why. And I try really hard to be.
You don't cut them off. You don't cut them off.
I try.
How?
Tell them. Tell them to
this is all on your resume. I just need a quick example. I just need, I just really want to make sure you have that and just checking the boxes.
And I advise not to do that in the interview. I'd give them constructive feedback.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do that too. But you can't hide who people really are.
When you've got a rambler. I had a guy the other day. He said, you got to forgive me. I do tend to go off at a tangent. I said, well, you're going to have to forgive me because I do tend to tell people that go off at tangents not to go off at tangents.
Listen to what this one woman said. My first question, I had to cut him off after 10 minutes. Every question was like that. When I tried to end the call, he said he had 3 questions, and he spoke for 5 minutes without even asking a question. And I had to cut him off again and say, "Do you have a question?" Okay, so apparently some people do, just like they do ramble, and it sounds like you do have to interrupt them. But some people, I'll bet you they get mad.
It doesn't always work, though. It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
I had a really high-level guy at Deloitte who was so full of himself, and forgive me, he was from England, and just thought he was the biggest, the hottest whatever on earth, and rambled just like you said, Animal. And he was not hired. I mean, he went through the interview process, but because of that attitude and not listening, he wasn't hired. So they do themselves in.
So people get turned away because they talk too much, even if they're technically competent. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing from the people in the trenches.
Well,
Alan, I'm surprised Alan didn't say something. He's got a very forceful voice. I thought he wouldn't have any problem with that at all.
Yeah, Alan has a great voice. Alan has a great voice for recruiting.
I think
the one that gets me is when people talk themselves out of a job at interview.
How do they do that?
They just keep talking.
Yeah, they keep talking, or they don't read the room. Where if somebody says, "Do you have a question?" If you're sitting in a room with 2 executives, and what questions do you have? And they won't stop asking. They don't. That's like 2, 3, 4 questions. They keep asking and keep asking. Now, if it's a back and forth, that's fine. But if they don't read the room, I've seen many people talk themselves out of a job.
Really?
In many cases, nerves, isn't it? People are very nervous, and if you've got 3 candidates and it means more to than the top one, they're going to be the most nervous because of their circumstances, and sometimes nerves get the better of you. So in some cases, it is down to the employer to be able to work out, why is it and why do they do that? Do they do that normally? And additionally, if it's a techie role where they don't chat all day and they don't need to be talking, then I don't care how much they talk because they're probably not going to be. But if they're in sales and it's a commercial role and it's client facing, then absolutely, then you're going to be very conscious of it. And I know some interviewers who will purposely not interject just to see how long they go on for. And I know one guy that walked out the room, made a cup of tea, came back about 3 minutes later, and the guy's still rambling on, and you're speaking to that person.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I usually give them an example of how to answer and not a framework for answering and not answering questions.
Like you want to tell us?
Sure. I call it my Hawaii answer. So if you're interviewing at noon in Los Angeles and the question is, do you know what time it is in Hawaii? There's 3 answers you could give. One is yes, a little too short. The second answer is you describe how to melt the metal to build the gears, to build the watch, to tell the time. Way too involved. The third choice is, what time is it in Hawaii? Well, it's noon now. It's a 3-hour time difference. It's 9 a.m. in Hawaii. It'd be kind of nice to have this interview in Hawaii with a nice cup of coffee, but it's 9 a.m. Boom, done. And I also tell them, if you have to, on your notebook, write STFU someplace where only you can see it.
And your candidates don't mind you telling them how to talk?
Nope. No, and actually the ones that do, because I'm not trying to, you know how I talk animal. Kathy knows.
Yeah.
Look, I try to be as respectful as possible and not say, I just say, here, look, let me share something with you, my experience. I have this issue. Here's how I've addressed it. Here's something that helps me. And these managers like stuff, they're engineers, they like their information bullet point, direct, and just add a little bit after that. And if somebody has a huge problem with it, it's like, I'm wondering about their communication ability.
Yeah, I will tell candidates to give the highlight, the success, hey, I implemented this SAP thing and it transformed the financial systems. Would you like to hear more about my role in that? Throw it back as a question, and they'll say, nope, that's good, got it, next question.
Yeah.
And I do want to hear exactly what you did in every phase.
That's a really good way to do it. Like that.
Yeah. Sounds pretty good. Okay, I'm going to do an ad. Hey, everybody. Honeit, Honeit. You know what it is? It's phone interview technology. It records your interviews and turns the key questions and answers into separate audio clips to help the hiring managers hear the motivation, the personality, and the enthusiasm. Can you hear my enthusiasm? The enthusiasm that the recruiter just heard. When you can share a story with a hiring manager in the candidate's own voice, presuming it's a good communicator, it delivers a ton of info that you just can't get from a resume or a dry report from a recruiter. So if you want to get a hiring manager excited about a great candidate, share some of that sizzle with Honeit, Honeit.com. It turns everything into a searchable transcript as well. I was just thinking with this regards to Honeit, though, if you get somebody who is not a good communicator, what are you going to do? Yeah. It's just a coincidence that I did the ad while we were talking about these people who have to, the hiring manager gets the recording and the guy's taking 15 minutes to answer a 2-minute question. The guy goes out for tea, and it's still there. Okay, let me see. You know what? Only 30% of companies have mobile-friendly applications. That shocked me. I mean, it's 2019, and they're not mobile-friendly yet? How come? Does anybody have an opinion on that?
Life is too short not to work on solving cool problems with interesting people, and recruiting allows us to do both. I'm Brando, host of the Rebel TA podcast, a show where we share stories with people and talent leaders who are on a mission to empower the candidate-employer relationship in the future of work.
I'm shocked.
Anybody? You don't know?
I'm shocked. No, because I use my phone for everything.
Yeah.
So
So does everybody else.
Yeah.
So does everybody else, but you're not supposed to apply for jobs on them. Are flip-flops okay in an interview?
No.
Anybody? Kathy's
No.
a no?
No.
Alan?
No.
Alan?
Not even on Silicon Beach in Santa Monica.
If you want to look at someone's toes, what if they have toe fungus?
Why not? Why not? I don't mind looking at toes.
It's really simple, Animal.
It's disgusting.
Look, you always want as a candidate interviewing, you always want to dress for one level above, and you've just dressed 2 levels below.
Okay, but
I
hold on a
wouldn't even
second.
wear open-toed shoes to an interview. I wouldn't.
Really, Phil just said, look, it depends on the candidate. If they're a techie, who cares, right? And I understand that some of these startups, they're extremely informal, and if you dress too formally, they are going to feel uncomfortable with you.
That's
so
true. You don't
got
have
the
to wear
wrong
a
color.
suit.
I didn't say
And wear
that.
tennis shoes. Wear closed-toed tennis shoes.
I did not say that.
You didn't say that. You said the person doesn't have to be able to communicate. So I was transferring that same idea over to shoes. If they don't have to communicate, they don't have to wear nice shoes either, right? Hard shoes.
Yeah, but
if you know how I feel about feet, then you get it. You know, I just
you don't
think,
like feet? Is that you've got a foot problem? Is that what you're saying?
I definitely have foot issues. I've never seen a good-looking foot in my life.
I haven't
I
either.
had a girlfriend with beautiful feet. No, I had a girlfriend who had very beautiful feet. Okay, she did. Okay.
That's unusual.
I want to ask a question.
That's an oxymoron.
Go ahead, Kendra.
I don't like the open toes or the flip-flops, but I really, my pet peeve is gum. Who chomps gum during an interview? Spit it out.
True.
I would wonder what it...
True.
Thank you, Kathy.
I just would walk them out the door very quickly if they were gumming it.
Really?
Absolutely. That's terrible. That's a really... No. 101.
Wow. You guys are tough. Okay, let me see. What else was there going on? You know, you guys, I don't know if you want to comment on this. I took a real beating. Now, there's nobody in a Facebook group. There's nobody who's got a sense of humor or is lighthearted. I mean, what was the problem with that girl who was recruiting wearing those? I thought they were yoga pants at first. They were skinny jeans.
They were leggings. They were skinny jeans. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
What are they? Those are stretchy pants, like they're because I didn't even know how she got them on. Really, they were so tight.
Most of them have a lot of stretch in them. That's all I wear are skinny jeans.
Okay.
They have stretch.
You know what? I mean, there's all kinds of style changes, and whenever there's a change, it also always makes the newspapers and people talk about it, like mini skirts, long hair. Business casual. People talked about it endlessly. So why was there such a vehement? I mean, one woman, what did she call me? A dick. She called me a dick.
I know, they were so terrible to you. I couldn't believe it.
Somebody else liked it. I mean, what was going on there? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm quitting the group.
What have you done now?
What?
What have you done now, Animal? What did you say?
Oh, there was a discussion about whether a recruiter can wear yoga pants at work. And this young woman actually went to a college. She was recruiting there. She was a campus recruiter. And she was wearing tight pants. I thought they were yoga pants. They were so form-fitting. She was very curvy. And apparently they were skinny jeans. But they looked like paint-ons, right? So I said, this was my example. Yeah, you don't only have to wear them at your home office or even, at your in-house corporate office. You can actually go out and meet the public and wear these pants. It's the times have changed.
It was a situation. She was college recruiting. So you want to dress accordingly, and that would be appropriate for college recruiting. At a job fair. That's appropriate. My son is business casual now, working, doing a law internship at USD, and he wears his business casual, those short, skinny pants where you can see the socks. and an Oxford shirt. It's now it's in to see the socks, short pants, and skinny.
Yeah. What is your Kendra has a son too. What does your son wear to work? He
is so much a Sheldon. He still wears a tie and Oxford shirt, and that's just his MIT look that he rocks.
I love that.
So, yeah, he's very retro. He's 26.
How old? Yeah, my son's 25. So yeah.
Does
he wear tight short pants or not?
Yeah, he wears fitted. He likes the European fit kind of slacks, and he'll wear a suit jacket, but he likes that tie in Oxford.
Oh.
Any last comments? Anybody got something they want to say? Anybody?
I just don't understand why they were so mean to you. That was just so out of. I mean, what is it with the bullying lately? It's crazy. And
these women are tough. They are tough.
I know.
And I could talk about the soccer team as well. Those soccer women, they're pretty tough. And that contradicts what we're being told always about, women don't like tough words. Women don't, there's oversensitive. You keep this textio is saying, don't use this word in your job. These women were tough. Okay, so I put up there, look at this as the big news about this U.S. soccer team. They don't fit the profile that we're being told women fit all the time, that they're very sensitive. Man, I got slaughtered on that. I thought it was an interesting
My husband and I were talking about it, and it's like you cannot say anything now without it being construed as racist or sexist or, I mean, a simple sentence that you never thought was benign, and all of a sudden you're ostracized because of it. It's crazy.
We're headed down a slippery slope there. Jerry would warn me that now's a good time to say thank you, Phil. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Adam, at the beginning, and thank you to the guest who cut his stay very short. Kathy's right. He was such an interesting guy to listen to. I forgave him, but I was mad to start off with. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.